This is Marie, and welcome to Marie's Chatty Tarot. And today I'm doing this video um, because I've heard of the news of Fauci resigning. Now, this is not new news because he had mentioned a few months back that he was going to resign. However, he seemed to have accelerated his plan where he would resign, where by December he'll be uh, keeping his office, his position until December of this year. Now, before, I think he had mentioned that he was going to stick around until Biden's first term, but he had accelerated his plan, to resign until end of this year, December. And a lot of people are speculating because Rand Paul um, uh, made a statement. Senator Rand Paul made a statement where he mentioned that he was going to pursue investigation after the midterms because there's talks that uh, uh, Democrats will lose a lot of their seats, both for the and uh, Senate and the House. Therefore, there's going to be a majority of conservative or Republican or Libertarian taking over. And they have mentioned that they were going to pursue investigation, and especially about the COVID pandemic and how things came about. And Fauci was at the center of everything. And Rand Paul promised that he was going to be the center of his investigation to find out what happened. And I think because a lot of studies have been coming out, even the CDC have changed their guidelines, and they even admitted that the 6 feet uh, uh, distance thing was a sham. There's a lot of studies right now coming up that the mask was not efficient. Actually, it was hurting a lot of people, a lot of kids with respiratory issues, with infection. Um, this goes on and on. So I wanted to ask the cards today, um, what would they want to share about Fauci resignation? And when I say resignation, I'm putting quotes there because um, there has been pictures floating around of two different Faucis not looking the same. So I kind of want the cards to kind of clarify what that resignation means and basically what the card wants to share about that. So today I'm going to be using a different deck. It's from the Everyday Tarot deck. It's a small deck, but it's pretty cool when you want to get some quick answers. So we want to ask what the cards wants to share about Dr. Anthony Fauci's quote-unquote resignation. So let's see what the cards wants to say about that. And it would be great if you would let me know what you think about this deck. It's pretty popular. I think I got it on Amazon. So let's see what the universe wants to share about Anthony Fauci's resignation. Well, those are smaller cards, so it looks like everything's going to be able to fit in the frame, which is cool. So far I'm seeing a lot of sword cards coming up. I'm using the Cucina knife spread. So apparently, that's so interesting. The real Dr. Fauci has been apprehended. He's been apprehended. Apparently, they have found like overwhelming evidence um, of his wrongdoing. Seven of Pentacles. Pentacles are cards of things that are real, substantial. Um, it could be evidence. Usually the seven of card is a card of somebody working and enjoying the fruit of their labor. That's usually that sense. And it could be also a card of evaluating a particular situation. But in this particular, in this setting here, with the Eight of Sword, now Eight of Sword is not a bad card per se, but in a sense, it is somebody being held captive or being held against their will, or it can also be somebody stubborn. But in this situation, it appears that Dr. Fauci is being held uh, somewhere because of his work, because of the fruit of his labors, and also the evidence of 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 what he's done. And it appears that right now, um, he has lost the fight. That I guess that he had to, what's the word? Not succumb, but he has to capitulate, I guess would be the word. Uh, because the Five of Swords is usually a card of strategy, but it could be a card of defeat, it could be a card of loss, it could be a card of conflict. So this all could be applied that uh, that he has done a lot of wrong. So this could be a card, sadly, it could be a card of violence as well. It could be a card of rape. Not all the time, but it could show as that. The Five of Swords is a very harsh card. And when you usually see it, it's typically, um, depending obviously on the reading, it could mean of loss, of wrongdoing of sort that's been done. And with the Ace of Wands underneath, it's as if what he's done is such a big magnitude. Um, uh, it's so, I think people don't yet understand what uh, the wrongdoing that he's done, how massive, how big his crimes are, especially if you do research about AIDS, about everything that he's been involved with in the 80s. Now it's a lot. So it looks like they took a hold of him with the Four of Sword. Four of Sword is usually a card of rest, of somebody in retreat, um, somebody taking time to reflect away from others, but to reflect so he can find himself. But in this particular situation, that Four of Sword means that he has been apprehended, taken somewhere um, to wait. And with that Three of Sword is usually a card of loss, of sadness, of grief. It could be a card of violence. Usually when you see this card, it's never good news. And that tells me that he may have receive judgment. That's one possibility. And the other way of looking at it is the possibility that he may have passed away. Usually people always think that the death card is the card that tells you that there's a death involved, but usually it's a combination of cards that would tell that somebody have gone on. So usually the Four of Sword and Three of Sword together is typically of somebody. It could be being sick, and it can be with the Four of Sword or being kept somewhere, and with the Three of Sword it means that person either passing from that illness, that sickness, or it can be that they have received a tremendous blow, a tremendous loss, either be of their life or either of lack of freedom. And then with the Queen of Pentacle in the immediate future tells me that overwhelming evidence is there for all to see if you just take the time to do the research. But also this tells me that a lot of people is coming to their senses, that they're realizing that maybe this gentleman was not such a good guy, and 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 maybe we need to reflect and to be more mindful of who you hand over your will. We need to learn to be more independent, more free in the way we think, and not trusting the science to the point where, this man have destroyed a lot of lives. He have turned a period of the pandemic into a very dark time for a lot of people, especially people who have taken the cure. And so I think a lot of people are starting to realize that aware, awake, and conscientious of and assessing who he is, what he is, and what he's done. And I think a lot of people are there's a lot of overwhelming evidence about him, and the information is going to come out. And a lot of people are going to get angry once they see that with the Ace of Wands. And then with the Seven of Pentacles, with the Queen of Pentacles, a lot of people are going to come to the realization that, the evidence was there. Some people chose to see it, some people chose not to. But the evidence was there. And it's now whether you want to or not, with a lot of people being sick, a lot of people being hurt, you don't have a choice, but you just have to see it. Because the Queen of Pentacles, she's looking at that evidence, she's looking at that coin, she's looking at, there's no way around it. It's right there for all to see. And everybody's going to have to assess and reevaluate what this gentleman has done. And wow, once that comes about with the Five of Wands, all five are not good cards in general. Five are conflict of some sort, either inner conflict or physical conflict. With the Five of Wands, once the information comes out about Dr. Fauci, there's going to be a lot of inner conflict. A lot of people are going to blame themselves, and a lot of people are going to start doing the blaming game. Because some people are going to blame pharma, some people are going to blame the media, some people are going to blame themselves. So everybody is going to be frustrated and angry and upset um, once everything starts to fall apart. With the Eight of Pentacles, um, Eight of Pentacles, Eight of Pentacles is usually a beautiful card. It's usually a person working at their craft, working on doing things better. It's as if they're trying to say that, yes, there's going to be a lot of conflict, but there's going to be a lot of frustration, sadness, and fear, and everybody is going to want to play the blaming game. But it's trying to urge everybody to focus on the task at hand, which is helping those people that have been hurt. Let's work on the solution. Let's work on making things better for the people that were negatively affected, and not focus too much on the blame game, because that time has passed. Really, things are going to be moving very fast with the Eight of Wands. The Eight of Wands is a fast moving card. Things are going to be moving swiftly afterwards. And then the Sun. The Sun is usually a beautiful card, moving in a better direction. So yes, things are going to be better, but there's going to be a moment when things are not. So this Fauci resigned. The real Fauci appears to have been taken a long time ago for his wrongdoing, and he may have already been judged and may have been executed, either from sickness, he probably died of natural causes, or he may have just been executed for his wrongdoing. And he is not a good person. With the Five of Swords, information is coming out every day about him, and a lot of people will realize that. And once people realize that, they're going to be angry, they're going to be upset, because the research has been there. They just were not willing to listen back then. But the upside would be to not dwell on being angry, just focus on helping the people that needs the help. And before you know it, that time will pass and things will get better. Wow. Thank you for your time. I appreciate you sticking around for this reading. Every day we're learning something new. Thank you. Please do share, like, and subscribe. And I hope to see you again soon. Thanks. Bye.